The locker door slams into my ribs for the third time this week. My books explode across the linoleum floor like confetti at some twisted celebration. My backpack strap snaps with a sickening tear. My glasses, the cheap wire-framed ones Mom saved 3 months to buy, crack down the middle. Laughter erupts around me, sharp and cruel, echoing off the gray hallway walls. Nobody helps. Nobody even pretends to care. Chloe Reynolds stands above me, her designer sneakers inches from my face, smirking like she's just won some sick game. "Nice catch, loser," she hisses, flipping her blonde hair over her shoulder. Her friends, Madison, Tyler, Derek, they're all laughing too, their voices blending into one horrible soundtrack. A teacher walks past, glances our way, and keeps moving. I'm invisible, worthless. My hands shake as I gather my torn homework, my broken glasses, my shattered dignity. That moment burns into my brain like a brand. My name is Harper McAllister, and for years, I was the broke, awkward kid everyone avoided. But 25 years later, walking back into our high school reunion, I would finally expose a power that would leave every single one of them trembling. I rush to the bathroom, lock myself in the farthest stall, and let the tears come. They're hot and angry, streaming down my cheeks in waves I can't control. My chest heaves with silent sobs. I bite my fist to keep quiet because even crying feels like giving them another victory. The cracked glasses dig into my face when I try to wipe my eyes. Everything hurts, my ribs, my pride, my entire existence, but underneath the pain, something else stirs. A tiny flame of rage, burning quiet and steady. I don't want to cry anymore. I don't want to hide. I want to rise. I want to become someone they can't touch, someone they can't hurt, someone they'll regret underestimating. Not through violence or screaming or any of their cruel tactics. Through something smarter. Something they'd never see coming. I take 3 deep breaths, splash cold water on my face, and stare at my reflection in the dirty mirror. The girl looking back is broken today, but she won't always be. I whisper a promise to myself. One day, they'll know my name. Dinner at home is silent except for the clatter of mismatched dishes and the hum of our ancient refrigerator. Mom sits across from me, her face lined with exhaustion from pulling double shifts at the factory. Dad's been gone for years. Just a ghost we don't talk about anymore. We eat pasta with butter because that's all we can afford this week. No sauce, no vegetables, no extras. Mom notices my cracked glasses and her face crumples. "Harper, baby, I'm so sorry, I can't." I cut her off gently. "It's okay, Mom, I'll tape them." She looks like she might cry, so I change the subject, asking about her day. She forces a smile and talks about her coworkers, but I see the guilt in her eyes. Money is always short, bills are always late, every need feels like a luxury we can't afford. But here's what I learn in that tiny kitchen, surrounded by chipped plates and worn furniture. Survival requires cleverness, not money. It requires patience, strategy, and the ability to see opportunities others miss. I start paying attention to how the world really works, beyond the shallow cruelty of high school hallways. Late that night, I stay up reading under my blanket with a flashlight. The library books stacked beside my bed are my escape, biographies of people who started with nothing and built empires. I read about entrepreneurs who slept in their cars, scientists rejected by their peers, leaders dismissed as nobodies. Each story fuels something deep inside me. I realize the world outside Riverside High doesn't reward cruelty or popularity contests. It rewards intelligence, resilience, and strategy. The bullies who torment me today, they peaked in high school. Their power is temporary, fragile, built on nothing substantial. But me? I'm just beginning. I grab a notebook, one of the few I managed to save from today's locker incident, and start writing. Not homework, a plan. I list my strengths: observant, determined, patient, smart. I list my goals: graduate, escape this town, build a career that demands respect, return one day when I'm untouchable. The plan seems impossible in this moment, lying in my tiny bedroom with cracked glasses and a torn backpack. But I write it anyway, because dreaming is free and planning is power. Graduation day arrives like a bad joke. The auditorium is packed with families cheering, cameras flashing, caps flying through the air. Chloe and her clique sit 3 rows ahead of me, laughing and whispering, their futures bright and guaranteed by family money and connections. I sit alone, watching them celebrate like the world belongs to them. Mom couldn't take time off work, so my chair stays empty during the ceremony. When they call my name, the applause is polite but minimal. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody cares. I walk across that stage feeling invisible again, clutching my diploma like it's the only proof I existed here at all. But as I sit back down, watching Chloe pose for photos with her parents, something shifts inside me. The ember I've been nurturing, the quiet flame of determination, suddenly roars to life. I make myself a silent promise. One day, they'll know my name. One day, I'll walk back into their lives with so much power they'll choke on their regret. I don't know how yet, but I will. The flame is burning now, and nothing will put it out. My first job after graduation is at Ruby's Diner on Route 9. I work double shifts, serving truckers and travelers who barely look at me. The pay is awful. The customers are worse. Men leer and leave terrible tips. Women snap their fingers like I'm a dog. My manager, Phil, gives the best shifts to prettier girls and makes comments about my appearance that make my skin crawl, but I watch everything. I notice how power works in this tiny ecosystem, how Phil favors certain people, how customers treat me differently based on my confidence level, how small acts of authority shift entire dynamics. Every insult sharpens my determination. Every humiliation teaches me something. I start keeping a journal of observations. Who has power? How they wield it, what weaknesses hide behind arrogance. At night, exhausted and smelling like grease, I study online courses about business and psychology. I'm building something they can't see. The other waitresses complain about customers and dream about quitting. I smile and take notes, because unlike them, I'm not here to survive. I'm here to learn, prepare, and eventually dominate. 6 months into the diner job, something shifts. Phil promotes his favorite waitress to shift lead, but she quits 2 days later for something better. He's desperate, scanning the room for options. I step forward, calm and prepared, and volunteer. Phil looks skeptical. I'm the quiet one, the nobody. But I've been watching, learning, memorizing every system and routine. I prove myself in one hectic Friday night rush, coordinating tables with precision, keeping everyone calm and efficient. By closing time, Phil grudgingly offers me the position. It's barely a promotion, 25 cents more per hour and a cheap badge that says lead. But for the first time since high school, I taste authority. A coworker who used to mock my second-hand clothes now hesitates before speaking to me. She asks permission instead of giving orders. It's this subtle, barely noticeable. But I notice everything. I savor that small shift in power like it's champagne. This is just the beginning. I wear that cheap badge like armor, knowing each tiny victory is a stepping stone towards something much, much bigger than Phil or Ruby's Diner could ever imagine. I enroll in night classes at the community college, studying business administration and communication. The classes are filled with people like me, exhausted, determined, quietly ambitious. I learn about organizational behavior, strategic planning, and the psychology of influence. Professors talk about power structures and leadership tactics. I absorb every word like I'm downloading software into my brain. Between classes, I network obsessively but carefully. I don't chase popularity or attention. Instead, I identify key people, the quiet achievers, the connected ones, the future success stories. I offer help, build genuine relationships, and position myself as someone reliable and smart. I learn that influence isn't loud or flashy. It's invisible, strategic, and unstoppable when wielded correctly. My diner coworkers think I'm wasting time on pointless classes, but they don't understand. Every lecture, every connection, every skill I acquire is a weapon I'm carefully sharpening. One day, I'll walk into a room and people will feel my presence before I even speak. That's real power. Not popularity or cruelty. Competence, confidence, and strategic positioning. I'm building an empire they'll never see coming. Late one night, curiosity gets the better of me. I pull up social media and search for my former classmates. It's not obsession. It's research. Chloe Reynolds pops up immediately, her profile public and overflowing with carefully curated success. She's working at her father's commercial real estate firm, climbing the ladder with family money and connections smoothing every step. Her posts scream arrogance, designer clothes, exotic vacations, humble brags about closing major deals. But I read between the lines. I noticed the insecurity in her captions, the need for constant validation, the way she name drops and exaggerates. I see complaints from former colleagues in comment threads. subtle hints that her reputation isn't as golden as her Instagram suggests. I create a private document, cataloging patterns, weaknesses, and insecurities. Not for revenge, not yet, but for understanding. Knowledge is power. The more I know about Chloe's world, the better prepared I'll be when our paths cross again. And they will cross, because I'm not running away anymore. I'm strategically positioning myself for the perfect moment to return. Patient, prepared, and unstoppable. A major client walks into Ruby's diner one afternoon. He's a businessman passing through, expensive suit, dismissive attitude. When I take his order, he barely looks at me, snapping his fingers and making rude comments about my appearance and my dead-end job. His words sting, cutting deeper than he knows. But I smile politely, serve his meal perfectly, and watch him leave a terrible tip. The old Harper would have cried in the bathroom. The new Harper takes notes. I watch how his arrogance blinds him, how he underestimated me, dismissed me, never imagining I could be anything more than a waitress in a roadside diner. That underestimation is his weakness. And it's exactly what I'll use against people like him one day. I realize something crucial. The longer I stay underestimated, the more powerful my eventual reveal will be. Let them think I'm nobody. Let them dismiss me, mock me, forget me. Because when I finally step into my power, the shock will be devastating. I pour the businessman's leftover coffee down the drain, toss his dirty napkin, and smile to myself. Strategic patience isn't weakness. It's the most dangerous weapon of all. 5 years after graduation, everything changes. My night classes pay off. My relentless networking opens doors. I land a junior position at a respected consulting firm in the city, analyzing business strategies for corporate clients. The work is intense, the hours brutal, but I thrive. I'm finally using my brain, my strategic thinking, my ability to see patterns others miss. Within 2 years, I'm promoted to senior analyst. Within 4, I'm leading projects that influence million-dollar decisions. Former classmates scrolling through LinkedIn would never recognize the meek Harper McAllister they tormented. I've transformed, not just professionally, but personally. I carry myself differently now. Confident, poised, commanding respect without demanding it. Colleagues seek my advice. Executives remember my name. I'm no longer invisible. But I stay quiet about my success. No flashy social media posts, no bragging, no need for external validation. I'm building real power, not performing it. And every milestone I achieve, I measure against that burning memory of Chloe standing over me in the hallway, calling me a loser. One day, she'll see exactly what this loser became, and the look on her face will be worth every painful moment I endured. I start mentoring younger employees at my firm, the ones who remind me of myself. The quiet, underestimated ones with fire in their eyes and nowhere to direct it. I teach them what I learned. Power isn't given, it's built through competence, strategy, and relentless preparation. I become known as someone who invests in people, who builds loyalty through genuine support rather than manipulation. My mentees succeed, rise through ranks, and remember who believed in them. I'm building an invisible network, a web of influence that extends far beyond my official title. Executives notice my leadership style. Clients request me specifically. My reputation grows quietly, steadily, unstoppably. I'm not the flashiest person in the room. I'm the most effective, and that's infinitely more powerful. One afternoon, a colleague mentions hearing about a Harper McAllister making waves in the industry. Any relation? He jokes. I smile mysteriously. Maybe. Because soon, very soon, there won't be any doubt. The name Harper McAllister will mean something. And everyone who dismissed me will hear it and feel the sting of their own short-sightedness. The reunion invitation arrives on a Tuesday afternoon, 25 years since graduation. The envelope is silver and gold, cheesy and nostalgic, with Riverside high-class reunion embossed across the front. My hands tremble slightly as I open it. Inside, there's a list of confirmed attendees. Chloe Reynolds is right at the top, marked as one of the planning committee members. Of course she is. She probably volunteered just to maintain her queen bee status, even after all these years. My heartbeat quickens, but not with fear or anger. With anticipation. This is the moment I've been unconsciously preparing for since that day in the hallway. The universe is handing me the perfect stage. I RSVP immediately, marking attending, with a firm, confident stroke of my pen. I don't mention it to colleagues or friends. This is personal, strategic, and entirely mine. I calculate the timing. 3 months to prepare. 3 months to finalize every detail of my appearance, my story, my approach. 3 months to transform this reunion from a nostalgic gathering into my personal theater of poetic justice. I tape the invitation to my mirror, where I see it every morning. A reminder. A promise. Game on, Chloe. Preparation becomes my obsession. I hire a personal stylist to craft an outfit that screams success without being flashy. Elegant, powerful, unforgettable. I practice my entrance, my posture, my handshake. I rehearse casual conversation that subtly reveals my accomplishments without bragging. Every detail matters. The way I'll walk through the door, where I'll stand, how I'll make eye contact, the tone I'll use when former bullies try to reconnect. I research who's attending, cross-referencing social media profiles with my old memories. I identify allies, the few decent people from high school who might remember me kindly, and plan to connect with them first, building social proof before confronting Chloe's group. I prepare anecdotes about my career that sound modest, but reveal significant power. I practice remaining calm, poised, unshakable, because this isn't about screaming or theatrics. It's about walking into that room radiating such undeniable competence and confidence that former tormentors feel their own inadequacy without me saying a single cruel word. The night before the reunion, I stand before my mirror in my chosen outfit, glasses replaced by contacts, posture perfect, expression serene. The transformation is complete. I'm ready. The night before the reunion, I can't sleep. I lie in my hotel room. A nice one, paid for easily with my comfortable salary, and let the memories wash over me. The locker slams, the laughter, the cracked glasses, Mom's exhausted face, the silent dinners, the nights crying in bathroom stalls, every humiliation, every moment of powerlessness, every instance of being invisible and worthless. I don't push the memories away. Instead, I let them fuel me one final time. I journal everything, writing down the pain, the rage, the determination that carried me from that hallway floor to this hotel room. But I also write about control, about how anger is useful only when channeled strategically, about how revenge isn't about hurting them, it's about proving my worth, reclaiming my story, and walking away knowing I rose above everything they tried to make me believe about myself. I close the journal, set it aside, and breathe deeply. Tomorrow isn't about them anymore. It's about me. It's about showing up as my fullest, most powerful self, and letting that truth speak louder than any insult they ever threw at me. I'm calm, I'm ready, and I'm absolutely unstoppable. I arrive at the reunion venue exactly 15 minutes after the official start time. Not early enough to seem desperate, not late enough to make an entrance seem calculated. The hotel ballroom is decorated with our school colors, nostalgic banners, and a playlist of songs from our graduation year. Former classmates cluster in groups, laughing and reminiscing, their voices blending into familiar chaos. I pause at the entrance, letting my presence register naturally. I'm wearing a tailored navy dress that fits perfectly, paired with simple but expensive jewelry. My posture is straight, confident, relaxed. I scan the room methodically, identifying faces. There's Madison, Chloe's former sidekick, looking softer but still guarded. Tyler's gained weight, lost hair, looks uncomfortable. Derek's talking loudly, compensating for something. And then I spot her. Chloe Reynolds, holding court at the center table, blonde hair still perfect, dress designer, smile practiced and bright. Our eyes meet across the room. Her smile falters, just slightly, as recognition flickers. She doesn't remember me immediately. I've changed too much. But there's something in her expression, a tiny crack of uncertainty. I smile calmly and walk forward, head high, shoulders back. The game has officially begun. Chloe's group notices me approaching, their conversations stuttering slightly as they try to place my face. I move with easy confidence, not rushing, not hesitating. When I reach their circle, Chloe's expression shifts from confusion to recognition to something resembling shock. "Harper," she says, voice lilting upward in disbelief. "Harper McAllister?" I extend my hand, smiling warmly but not desperately. "Chloe, it's been a long time." She takes my hand, her grip uncertain. Her eyes scan me up and down, taking in my appearance, clearly struggling to reconcile this version of me with the broken girl she remembers. "Wow, you look different," she manages, forcing a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Madison and Tyler exchange glances, equally confused. I laugh lightly, effortlessly. 25 years will do that. I keep my tone friendly, neutral, giving nothing away. Chloe tries to regain her footing, slipping back into her practiced social grace. So what are you up to these days? Her tone suggests she expects the same old Harper. Small, defeated, forgettable. I smile wider. Consulting. Corporate strategy, mostly. Keeping busy. The words land softly, but I see the flicker of surprise in her eyes. She didn't expect that answer. The conversation continues, others chiming in about their lives. Chloe dominates, of course, bragging about her position at her father's real estate firm, name-dropping clients, exaggerating deals. I listen politely, nodding, asking questions. But then someone, a former classmate named Jenny who I barely remember, turns to me. "What kind of consulting, Harper?" she asks genuinely. I keep my tone casual. Strategic operations. I recently led a project restructuring supply chains for a Fortune 500 client. It was challenging but rewarding. I don't elaborate, don't boast, but the statement lands like a stone in water. Ripples spread. Eyes widen slightly. Jenny gasps softly, "That's incredible." Chloe's smile tightens. She tries to laugh it off. "Well, not everyone can work with family connections like I do. Must be tough starting from nothing." Her comment is passive-aggressive, designed to diminish me. But I've prepared for this. I smile serenely. Starting from nothing taught me resilience. I wouldn't trade that education for anything. The room goes quiet for a heartbeat. A few people nod, murmuring approval. Chloe's face flushes slightly. I've just turned her insult into a compliment for myself. Power shift complete. As the evening unfolds, I share carefully chosen anecdotes about my career, stories that subtly highlight leadership, problem-solving, and strategic thinking. I talk about navigating difficult clients, managing teams through crisis, turning failing projects into successes. Each story is true, relevant, and quietly impressive. But here's the brilliance. I frame them as lessons learned, not boasts. I talk about mistakes, growth, humility. People lean in, genuinely interested. They ask questions, share their own struggles, and suddenly I'm the center of a warm, engaged conversation. Meanwhile, Chloe sits nearby, her own stories sounding increasingly hollow. She brags about commissions and deals closed, but offers no depth, no substance, no real insight. People nod politely, but their attention keeps drifting back to me. I notice Madison watching me with something resembling admiration. Tyler looks uncomfortable, like he's remembering something unpleasant. And Chloe? She's visibly unsettled, gripping her wine glass too tightly, smile frozen in place. I don't gloat. I don't attack. I simply exist, fully and powerfully, and let that truth dismantle her carefully constructed superiority. Revenge doesn't require cruelty. Sometimes it just requires showing up as your best self. More classmates gravitate toward me as the night progresses. People I barely knew, people who ignored me, people who laughed when Chloe slammed me into lockers. Now they're shaking my hand, complimenting my success, asking for LinkedIn connections. It's surreal, watching former tormentors treat me with respect, even admiration. Jenny pulls me aside, eyes bright. "Harper, I had no idea you were doing so well. You're honestly inspiring." I thank her genuinely. Others echo similar sentiments. Meanwhile, Chloe watches from her table, surrounded by her old clique but somehow looking isolated. Her kingdom is crumbling, her social dominance slipping. I catch her eye across the room. She looks away quickly, jaw tight. I'm not trying to humiliate her, not directly, but my presence alone, my success, my confidence, it's all a mirror reflecting her own insecurities. The people who once followed her are now drawn to me, curious, respectful, engaged. Power has shifted, subtly but undeniably. And the best part? I haven't said a single cruel word. I've simply shown up, told my truth, and let competence speak louder than any insult ever could. Chloe finally makes her move. She approaches me near the bar, wine glass in hand, smile sharp. "Harper, it's great to see you doing well," she begins, voice dripping with false sweetness. "I remember you struggling so much back then. Dead-end jobs, that awful diner. I'm glad you finally figured things out." The comment is designed to remind everyone, and me, of my lowest points. To reassert her dominance by highlighting my past failures. The old Harper would have crumbled. The new Harper sees it for exactly what it is, desperation. I smile calmly, meeting her eyes without flinching. Those years taught me everything I needed to know about resilience and strategy. I'm grateful for every struggle. It made me who I am today. I pause, letting the words settle. Sometimes the hardest paths lead to the strongest destinations. The people around us murmur agreement. Someone says, "That's so true." Chloe's smile cracks, her eyes flashing with frustration. She tried to diminish me and I turned it into empowerment. Game, set, match. She takes a long sip of wine, jaw clenched. I remain serene, unbothered, victorious. Later, I'm chatting with a group when someone mentions a major commercial development project in the city. Chloe perks up immediately. "Oh, we're bidding on that," she announces proudly. "My firm's proposal is incredibly competitive." I nod politely, sipping my drink. Then, casually I add, "That's the Riverside Commons project, right?" My firm was consulted on the operational logistics framework for the developer. Fascinating project. The room goes silent. Chloe's face drains of color. "Wait, you worked on that?" I smile gently. "Just the back-end strategy, making sure operations align with projections. Your firm's doing the real estate side, obviously." It sounds humble, but everyone in this room understands hierarchy. I was brought in by the developer, the client. Chloe's firm is competing for the contract. That means my role was higher, more trusted, more integral. I didn't plan this reveal. It's genuinely coincidental. But the timing is perfect. Chloe stammers, trying to recover. "Well, that's great, small world." Her voice is thin, strained. People are staring at her now, doubt flickering in their expressions. Her credibility, her superiority, her entire persona, it's cracking before everyone's eyes. And I didn't have to attack her. I just told the truth. The evening reaches its peak during the toast. Someone from the planning committee taps a microphone, calling for attention. People share memories, jokes, nostalgic stories. Then Chloe stands, claiming the microphone with practiced confidence. She launches into a speech about our incredible class and the journeys we've all taken. She mentions her own success repeatedly, name-dropping and embellishing. But her voice sounds hollow now, desperate. People are polite but distracted. Then she makes a mistake. "Some of us have stayed close to our roots," she says, glancing pointedly at me. "Others have changed dramatically." It's meant as a subtle jab, implying I've abandoned authenticity or sold out. But it backfires spectacularly. Someone shouts from the crowd, "Yeah, Harper's killing it." Others laugh and cheer. Jenny raises her glass. "To Harper McAllister, proof that real success comes from hard work, not connections." The room erupts in applause. I didn't ask for this. I didn't orchestrate it. But the validation is overwhelming. Chloe's face flushes deep red. She tries to laugh it off, but her humiliation is visible. She hands back the microphone, retreating to her table. I raise my glass gracefully, acknowledging the toast without gloating. Inside, my heart soars. Chloe disappears shortly after. I spot her slipping out a side door, shoulders tense, phone pressed to her ear. Madison follows, looking concerned. Tyler and Derek exchange uncomfortable glances. The queen bee is unraveling, her carefully maintained image collapsing under the weight of genuine competence and quiet power. I don't follow. I don't gloat. I stay in the ballroom, engaging warmly with former classmates, exchanging real connections, building bridges with people I'd written off years ago. Many approach me privately, some even apologizing for their past behavior. "I should have said something," one guy admits, referencing the bullying. "I'm sorry." I accept their apologies gracefully, not because I owe them forgiveness, but because holding on to anger doesn't serve me anymore. Later, through the window, I see Chloe standing alone in the parking lot, arms crossed, mascara smudged. She looks small, diminished, defeated. Not because I destroyed her, but because her own arrogance and insecurities destroyed the illusion she'd built around herself. I feel a flicker of something, not quite pity, but understanding. She peaked in high school. I'm just beginning. And that difference, that's everything. I leave the reunion around midnight, stepping into the cool night air, feeling lighter than I have in decades. The ballroom behind me still buzzes with laughter and music, but I'm done. I've said what I needed to say, not with words, but with presence, competence, and undeniable truth. Former classmates wave from the windows, some calling out for contact information, others simply watching with expressions that mix regret, admiration, and envy. I smile, wave back, and walk to my car. The drive back to my hotel is quiet, peaceful. I replay the evening in my mind, not with vindictive satisfaction, but with closure. I proved something tonight, not to Chloe or Madison or any of them, to myself. I proved that the broken girl on the hallway floor could rise, transform, and reclaim her story with intelligence, patience, and strategic power. Success isn't just about money or titles. It's about self-respect, resilience, and knowing your worth, regardless of who tries to diminish it. As I pull into the hotel parking lot, I catch my reflection in the rearview mirror. The woman staring back is strong, confident, unburdened. I smile, whispering to her, "We did it." And for the first time in 25 years, I truly believe it. Thank you for staying with me to the end. If it resonated with you, please like the video so it reaches more people. Share it with someone who might need it, and leave a comment with your thoughts or how you might have handled the situation. Most importantly, subscribe so you do not miss the next story. Thanks again for watching.